Good morning. Welcome to the 10X Automotive Weekly. I'm Jeff Bounds. I'm the head of sales here for Grant for Cardone Automotive Resources. And we are committed to bringing you every single Friday best practices that you'll be able to take back to your dealership and really be able to make an impact. The topic for today is follow-up. And I have to tell you, Grant says it's the holy grail of sales, and I completely agree. If you don't have a solid follow-up game, then you're not going to be able to produce the numbers that you're looking to every single month. So with that being said, we want to bring to you today 5 solid tips that you're going to be able to take your follow-up, supercharge it, and sell more cars at your dealership. So first and foremost, what I want to say is you have to have a game plan for follow-up, right? You can't just wing it. You can't just go whichever way the wind blows. Maybe I'll call the customer back, maybe I won't. I'll call him and leave him one voicemail. I'll send him an email. You have to have a game plan of attack. It's no different that if you're playing in the NFL and you practice, you have your playbook, and by the time you hit the field, you're ready to go. That's what you need to do to take things to the next level. So with that being said, do you realize that 48% of automotive salespeople never even make the call? That's unbelievable to me. So if you look at all the different metrics that are out there now, around like lead volume, phone tracking and all that kind of stuff, and you implement the fact that almost half of your people aren't even calling these leads back, that's mind-boggling. So you got to make sure that you have your people engaged and ready to follow up. You have to have a purpose for the call. I mean, what are you going to say to this customer? The internet lead comes in. How are you going to differentiate yourself, the vehicle that they're interested in, and your dealership? You got to find something that's going to make yourself unique to make them want to come do business with you. That's the key, because everybody has the same models, the same cars. They all look the same. Some of your dealerships are a little nicer than others, but one thing they don't have is you. So you have to create your own persona, so to say, to the customers so they want to come in and do business with you. And the easiest way to do that is just be personable, be real. Realize that, it's a lead, but you're talking to another human being. So treat them the way that you would want to be treated. And realize the reason they sent that lead is it's all about information. Now, the scary thing is in today's times, the customers sometimes have more information than we do at the dealership. So when they call up, you have to have your game tight. You got to be ready to be able to provide them the valid information that they want. Grant always talks about give. And you need to be able to make sure that you're giving them what they want. If they call in for a lease payment, give them a lease payment. Give them a finance payment. Give them, a one-pay lease. Make sure that you give them so much information that it's almost overload, but you're going to distinguish yourself from everybody else in the space that's like, hey, when can you come in? Come on down. I mean, I still hear that today and it blows my mind. People don't have time for that. There was a recent study that was done that says that the attention span of individuals today is less than that of a goldfish, which is 4 seconds. So you have 4 seconds to get these people's attention to say, hey, I want to come in and do business with Jeff. And, look, he seems like a great guy. This will be a good experience for me. Because you got to take that certainty level that the customer has right now. They have a shield up, right? So you got to create the certainty that they want to get in the car, they want to drive to your dealership and deal with a professional. Also, you got to have a really good attitude. Smile when you're on the phone, right? When you're touching base with these people, you need to give them your best every single time. They don't know that maybe you're calling 100, 150 people a day. They don't know that maybe you get 40 or 50 leads. But every time you pick up that phone, when you send an email, when you do a social media touch, you got to give it all to them. You got to make sure that you're creating the experience that's going to make them want to say yes and differentiate yourself from everybody else. And then look, during the call, nowadays, every single phone for the most part, I can't say it's 100%, but it's got to be close to 80% are cell phones. So one of the keys that we use here at Cardone Training Technologies is we make the call, and as we're on the call, we're texting the customer at the same time. Gives you 2 touch points and also gives you the opportunity to find out how does the customer want to be engaged. I mean, you have some people out there that just want to deal with text messages. I'm sure that that you guys have run into a situation, even when you call your kids, you call them on the phone, they don't answer. You shoot them a text, they text you right back. Why? Because that's the way that they want to be communicated with. So you need to keep that in mind, that everybody does things different ways. So then that kind of like segments into our second point. Never use one form of communication, right? Just don't make a call, leave a voicemail, move on. Just don't send a blind email or a blast email or autoresponder and think that that's what it's going to take to get them to engage. Here's what you need to do. You need to make a phone call. As you're making a phone call, you're shooting them a text. You're firing off an email. You're making a social media touch. You want to do whatever you can to say, man, this guy's a freak. He's all over the place. Who is this guy, Jeff Bounds? I see him everywhere. So you realize that it takes 5 to 12 attempts to connect. When you do connect, it's going to be because they want to take the call and find out, hey, what's this person's deal? You know, they're hitting me everywhere. So you need to make sure that you're touching all these particular points. And, you know, look, we just talked about them. Call, text, voicemail. Something else that's amazing that a lot of people are kind of afraid to do, it's just you just got to do it anyway, right? Is do a selfie video, right? Just hit somebody up and say, hey, you know, it's Jeff. Just wanted to touch base with you. I really appreciate you sending the lead, you know, on the Honda Accord, and I just love to have the opportunity to do business with you. We got a special sale going on this weekend. Love to have you come down, blah, 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 blah. Whatever you need to do. It's personable. It makes like a different connection than just a voice on the phone. Because you got to realize everybody's going to process information differently. Some people are auditory, some people are visual. Hit them all. That's why you got to have all kinds of different communication points, because you don't know how they're going to resonate with you. So when you end the call, or the email, or the text, or whatever sort of touch point that you have, you got to give the customer the perception that you care, that you're service first, that you want to take care of them, that they're in good hands. That's what you want, because once that call ends, they're going to be analyzing everything that happened. They're going to have 5 or 6 other dealers calling them at the same time, and you want to do something to make yourself stand out and be different. The other key component, you got to be persistent, you got to be consistent, right? You got to make sure that you have enough material, and for the majority of you on this call, you already have Cardone on Demand. And you have the #1 leading automotive sales training platform on the planet. There is so much information in there that if you're not using this every single day to tighten up your game, you're doing yourself a disservice. Grant has a follow-up tool inside of the platform that essentially gives you follow-up for 365 days of the year. You don't even have to be creative. If you just follow what we have in the Cardone On Demand platform, it's going to make an impact. You don't have to wonder, what am I going to say? What am I going to do? You don't have to continue making the calls. Hey man, I'm just checking in. Are you going to come in this weekend? Or sending the email, you know, are you still interested? Make yourself stand out. Make yourself stand out and be different than everybody else. And then you got to have a follow-up schedule, right? So you leverage this follow-up tool program, but then also you got to leverage your CRM to make sure you stay on point of what those touch points are. So many of us, I mean, you know, most dealers are getting anywhere from like 200 to 300 leads a day, sometimes maybe, you know, even more. So it's like, I'm sorry, a month, not a day. That would be a lot of freaking leads for a day. But anyway, you're getting all these leads. So you got to make sure that you have all the touch points, whether you're sending an autoresponder, you're sending a personalized first email, you're making a call, you're sending a text. What are you going to do on day 2? What are you going to do on day 3? What are you going to do, you know, on day 10? How are you going to keep them engaged, right? If you look at your internet lead funnel, the gold is in the 60 to 90 day bucket. Why? Because most salespeople they make one call, leave a voicemail, and they move on. They don't continue following up the customer. So if you make it consistent and touch these folks on your CRM, that has to be one of your funnels that you're working every single day. Yes, you're getting in new leads, but then your follow-up game is where the gold is, because you're going to nurture these people to get to the fact that they want to come in and do business with you. The other side of the equation that's extremely important, and on the phones. And I'm a big phone guy. Anybody that knows me knows that, you know, phone is really where the value is to make you a ton of money. So you got to become good on the phone. And you got to be willing to always, always, always leave a message. If you make a phone call and you don't leave a voicemail, you just wasted your time, man. Nobody's going to look at their phone and say, hey, I have a missed call, and just call the person back. It's all about getting in their awareness. It's getting them to notice that this person is calling me from such and such a dealership, sounds like a good person, wants to get me information, and you don't know how they're going to engage because, again, people are distracted. You know, here at 10X headquarters, I mean, we're all about massive action, and we're about delivering, you know, a lot of information out into the marketplace, social media, email blasts, and things of that sort. Why? Because 9 times out of 10, when you're sending that information out, they're not even seeing it. Like, you can post on social media and you can make 5 or 6 posts that are exactly the same, and you'll get likes on every single one of them. And then if you call the individual up and say, hey, did you see the post that I put on social media? They're like, no, I didn't see it. But in your mind, you think, hey, I did what I needed to do. So it just needs to be at levels that are much higher than what you think are normal. Massive action, 10X, whatever you think you need to do, you need to 10X it to the level where you're getting the amount of awareness that you need. So, you know, one of the things that Grant always talks about is be the stream and not the rock, right? Be so consistent that nothing can stop you. Don't let anything get in your way. So you need to keep the consistency to be able to make that happen. So here's some stats for you. 2% of all sales are made on the first contact. 2%. We go to 2 contacts, it only goes up 1%, 3%. Now where the gold is between the 5th and the 12th contact. How many of you today are touching that many people that many times in your funnel? That's the question you have to ask yourself. This is something that you can take back today or moving forward for the rest of the month. And I promise you, if you make the commitment to follow up your prospects in a way that's original, creative, and, you know, have a follow-up schedule, sky's the limit. You're going to be selling so many cars you don't know what to do. And then, you know, you're going to wonder why, but it's just all that consistency built up. I mean, sales is a numbers game, right? You got to make the call. You got to send the email. You got to shoot the text off. You got to do whatever it takes to get their attention. So look, speed is power. You know, speed is everything in follow-up, right? You want to be the first person to follow up. You know, we have statistics that say in the first 60 seconds, if you connect with a lead, you have a 500% increase in conversion. 500%. And I remember even back, you know, when I was, you know, running the internet department, running a BDC, and, you know, I remember when Cars Direct first came out and AutoWeb was out and Costco Auto Program, people were sending faxes over. As soon as that email hit with that lead, I was on the phone. And people were like, man, I just sent the lead. And I was on the phone to provide service to them. And they appreciated that because people appreciate people that are following up the way that they want to be followed up with. They want information, they're begging for it. And in this industry, in the automotive industry, it's not hard because the expectation that customers have is not very high. So if you just do the basics, you're going to have yourself stand out from everybody else. So, you know, be consistent, be regular, do what you need to do every single day to find out what works for you. You're going to see also patterns. You know, in every single dealership, whether you're domestic, import, highline, there's different mechanisms and different strategies that work well for you. So once you're actually putting out a ton of different action with, you know, the calls, the emails, the texts, the social media touches, you will see patterns on what's converting. So what's ever converting, 10X it. Go at it harder. Make sure that you're focusing on where the conversions are, but continue doing it over and over and over and over again, and that's where you're going to see the results. You know, follow-up is something that, you know, everybody thinks they have figured out. Everybody thinks they're a master of it. You know, even myself, you know, I've been on board here now for over a month here with Grant, and we have, without a doubt, the best sales team on the planet. I mean, we have a boiler room back there of professionals that their level of commitment and follow-up is unlike anything I've ever seen. I mean, it's things that I thought that, okay, you know, here's the technique. I'm learning things from these guys every single day. So it's like, with that being said, you know, Grant is really focused on giving back to the automotive community. And one of the things that we're really excited about is we've put together the 10X Automotive Academy. And if you wouldn't mind putting that up on the screen, I want all you guys to see this. This is going to be happening on December 17th and 18th. We're just actually waiting for them to put it up here so we can talk through it. But it's going to be everything about streamlining your process inside of the dealership and giving you everything you need, starting with attitude, mindset, prospecting, cold calling, follow-up, internet lead funnel, equity mining, all these different components. You want to make sure that you're here for this. If you're on this call today and you are a current Cardone On Demand subscriber, we're allowing you to send 2 of your people to this boot camp for free. So, and here it is on the screen here. So all I have to say is this is an opportunity unlike anything else. We're going to have leadership from our company here. We're going to have some special guests. We're going to have a ton of content in here for you guys to be able to go through. And I promise you that you're going to be able to take away so much from this that it's going to make a substantial impact. And the true beauty of what we're doing here is we're leveraging on top of the Cardone On Demand platform. So you get your people here to this event, you get them entrenched in all this knowledge, and then the takeaways that they have can also be replicated inside of the Cardone On Demand platform. So everything in here is, we're just going to take it to a different level. We're going to role play. We're going to talk about scripts. We're going to talk about mastering objections. I just sent out a survey to all you guys to try to find out what are the key topics that you have interest in or you think you have challenges with at your dealership. And we're going to cover those. Because what we're committed to do for you as our clients in the automotive industry is to ensure that we're giving you valid data that's going to help you be better. And we're going to provide it in a way that's easy for you to consume. So I hope this was successful today for you guys. I hope it was worth the time. I'm going to walk through again just the top 5 tips to close more sales with follow-up. First and foremost, have a game plan. Pick up the phone, make the call, engage. That's number 1, right? Number 2, never rely on one form of communication. Create a variety of different touch points that you can have with your customers to make sure that you find the one that they engage with. Number 3, be persistent and consistent, right? Be organized, plan, and creative. Know what you need to do so every single day you have that strategy to help move you forward. Number 4, always, always, always leave a message. Nobody's going to know who you are if you don't continually brand yourself and they don't know that this person is leaving me all these messages. Finally, they're going to call you back. And then number 5, one of the most important ones is in the follow-up game. It's all about doing the things when you need to do them in that particular time, following a process. And I tell you, and I promise you, you can't do this on a piece of paper. You can't do this on a Post-it note. You got to have a streamlined process. And the CRMs today are incredible. And literally all you do is walk in the morning and you have your call list, you have your email list, you have your follow-up list. That's going to keep you consistent and that's going to take you to the next level. So I really appreciate all your time today. I hope you guys kill it this weekend. And we look forward to talking to you next Friday at 10 a.m. Thank you.